will continue, so every unit in this building has a project-based housing assistance payment subsidy. And you will continue to pay 30% of your income towards the rent. That has been happening for years beforehand. It will happen into the future. That fact is not changing. So that notice is required by HUD, the federal government. We're legally required to send it. And what it effectively means is that the amount of Section 8 subsidy will increase. But the rent that you pay towards, or the amount of money that you pay towards the rent will not increase. So,
and that's usually an annual thing where you will get the rent increase annually, the same notice,
Mhm.
but again, your portion doesn't change, just the subsidy portion.
Yeah, we are in the process of doing a long-term renewal, and so we were legally required to give you guys that notice. So I personally find that notice to be confusing, so I apologize if it caused anxiety for folks.
There's a lot of numbers that go into that, and that's why I think I was confused by it.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I completely agree. It's a legally required notice. We don't edit it. We're not allowed to change it. It just goes out. And so I do agree it's confusing, and I apologize if it caused anxiety. But if the Section 8 subsidy pays a portion of your rent, the amount of money that you pay towards the rent of your unit will not increase. So that's the answer to the first question. And are you filming the meeting? A video?
Correct.
Okay. That's a new.
I have people who can't make it down here and want to hear the answers that you have for.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
So that was an official notice. There's a couple more official notices that are going to be coming out, so I just wanted to highlight them. The biggest one that you're going to receive in the next couple months is called the General Information Notice. You might have heard it referred to as the GIN notice. It's another HUD Section 8 official notice, and its purpose is to notify you of your legal rights if you are displaced from the property. But the way it can read is that it's like a notice of displacement. But I want to be very clear that Trellis does not anticipate displacing any existing resident from Walnut Towers due to the Section 8 renewal and the renovations. The notice is effectively not applicable, but we are legally required to send it out. So when you get it, and we'll try, going forward, we'll try and include like a plain language cover letter on our letterhead that just is, it's not like HUD legalese, it'll be more plain language. But I wanted to let you know because that general information notice or the GIN notice can also sometimes be confusing and cause questions to come up. And again, if you ever get a notice from us or any letter and you have questions or concerns, please reach out, contact management, and they can walk you through what the notice means. So that will come out in the next couple months, the GIN notice. And then there'll be other notices in the coming months. They'll fall into two buckets. There'll be some notices as we get closer to the renovation activities, which we'll talk about in a minute. But as we get closer to the renovation activities, there'll be notices about them. It'll be like, in 2 months, we're going to start construction in this area of the building. Or it'll be notices like that. And we will have future meetings and future communications as we get closer to construction, and we can go over those notices in more detail. But I wanted to let you know about those. And then finally, in connection with the new financing that we're getting to fund the renovation, you all will sign new leases. They will be substantively, substantially the same, but at some point, you'll all have to come in and sign new leases, and you'll have to do some compliance paperwork.
So you didn't get your funding yet?
What's that?
You don't have your funding yet?
We do actually have our funding. Yeah, we do. We were awarded funding this summer, and we are working towards closing on that funding. We're working through the design process right now, which takes a long time. And so we're working towards, a good question, we're working towards closing on the funding and starting the renovation activities in early 2024. We would do it sooner if we could. We're working as hard as we can, but they just
Time.
yes. It's also, renovations are also, no matter what we do, disruptive, and so, we understand that it's gonna be a lot of work in Walnut Towers, because there's a lot of deferred maintenance.
So why do we have to sign you like leases? Right.
Yeah, so one of the funding sources that we have are called low-income housing tax credits, and it just requires like a new lease.
Is it still gonna be month by month though?
No, it'll be the same yearly
Start out
lease.
with an initial year and
So
then
if you
we'll
sign
go
a lease,
month
we have
to
to be
month.
here the whole year?
I
I'm
believe
running
so,
on my
yeah.
old lease right now. I never signed a lease here.
It automatically rolls month to month.
That's,
Yeah.
And then with the tax credit program, you'll all have to do pretty much like your annual, where we re-verify everything, all income, all assets. Unless you're in this sweet time period of just doing your annual, you will have to redo an annual paperwork for the tax credit program. And then it'll line
I'm
up,
not gonna do it.
it'll line up yearly with your section 8 cert from then forward.
Cause I already did that shit.
It can
Yeah.
only
I'm not
be
gonna
up
do it.
within 120 days of closing,
Yeah.
so once it closes, that's when everybody will have to start doing the paperwork.
Yeah.
But that's not until 2024.
Correct,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, correct. And there'll be more meetings and communications about the lease and answering your questions about that too. But I do, and I'll look to you as well, that substantively, the rules and the standards around the new lease is not different from your old lease.
No way at all.
We're probably still using.
yeah, I'm still month
Yeah.
by month.
It's still the
Basically,
it's still the HUD, the HUD section.
Before the renovation, y'all getting ready to try to clear the house too.
No, so that's
A lot of people
another,
don't have to leave, right?
so that's another good question. We are not intending to, like, have a bunch of vacant units or rent to different populations or displace any residents. We're not intending to change the tenor of this existing community.
But if due to the increase, it will make some changes. No one intends on it, but just because of the market value going up, it will make changes.
Yeah, so just
No,
to,
because you
just to-
still have to qualify to move in. The qualifications for section 8 remain the same.
Yes.
So when the apartment complex is now charging rent that is beyond standard, because right now it's $880 or $890 or something like that. Next year's projected to go up a little bit, but your projected rent for after the finished project's over $1,000. That's above what the standard is. So when the city decides that, wait a minute, everybody that's living here, you're living beyond your means now. We the city don't want to pay that extra because you're living in an apartment complex that is charging more than the average of everything else. What happens then?
No, because HUD will still pay, this is approved by HUD. The
Yeah.
full rent.
Well, that's what you're trying for, right?
Is approved by HUD.
So it can be over the standard, is what I'm asking.
No, they do their own market analysis.
Okay, so, but like on those sheets that you have in there as well, it didn't show anything what the median average rent is around here.
Your rent will be 30% of your income.
I understand that. I'm not complaining on that state. What I'm saying is when it goes over that standard, when the city is gonna say, hey, you can go get a 1-bedroom apartment over here for $850. Where everywhere around is their one apartment building is way cheaper than $1,000 that you're expecting. And so when you're saying, the government sells you over here to, apply, well, it's way beyond the average median of your 1-bedroom apartments.
No, because you have to qualify for assistance to move in.
Yes, yeah, but
You have to need assistance to move
you need assistance to move in. But there, when we moved in and we were looking before here for a regular Section 8 also, they said this is your limit. You can't go over this amount. You have to find a 1-bedroom under $900 a month.
voucher on it.
Correct. What's happening when they say that you have to find an apartment under $1,000 and your 1-bedroom now is $1,000?
Outside subsidy, because we subsidize you from within with the project base, so there's nothing like that comes into play.
Yeah,
You
this-
lose your voucher if you're on Section 8 because we're project based.
I also read a rule about projects, Section 8, that I'm not positive that rolls over the same here, but that goes on your lease, that when your lease expires, they demand that it's another renewal of that single-year lease. It doesn't say you go on to a one-to-one. If you want the...
Current lease is a rolls to a month to month.
I will get you those paper that actually shows from Section 8's section-based rules and regulations. I have it upstairs. I should have brought it for you, but it actually states that it has to be renewed at the same it was when you signed your original lease, so year to year. There's actually a regulation in there. I mean, I'll get you that if you don't.
It depends on what lease you're on now. If you're
I'm on. Well, I started on I started on a year to year, and I've been on a year to year every time I re-signed my lease. It's never once turned into a month to month.
So then you're a yearly process.
Right, because according to Section 8, it has to re-over as another year-to-year thing.
You want a year base.
And I'm under HUD, but now you guys are switching to Section 8.
Mm-mm,
It's the
So
same.
that means
Same
I
thing.
have to refile under Section 8.
same thing.
No, it's the
You've
same.
always
It's
been.
not the same, cause I just got taken off Section 8, cause they couldn't find a place in time.
Yeah.
So you're currently under project-based
So I'm on
Section
HUD.
8.
Like Rule 42 or something like that.
Yeah, Section 8 contract for Walnut Towers. You've all signed Section 8 lease. It's administered by HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Yes.
We are renewing that contract. It's not changing. So
Okay.
I'm a little confused on what the concern is. We don't have a city subsidy, these are not city Section 8 vouchers. It's not changing.
Project-based Section 8, I believe, is per building.
Yeah.
Correct.
Federal Section 8 is federal, it's nationwide,
Mhm.
It's-
ideally.
the
There's some
difference-
differences.
Yeah.
Project-based, if you move out, you lose your project-based voucher.
Correct.
If you have federal, you can go to another federal participant,
Correct.
apartment unit and transfer it to them, but they have to participate in the federal
Yeah,
program.
there's two types, just like you said, there are tenant-based Section 8 vouchers that follow the resident where they go. And then there's project-based, like here at Walnut Towers, where the Section 8 rent assistance is attached to the unit. And residents come and residents go, but the rent assistance stays with the unit. So, to answer your question, ma'am, which is really important, is the amount of money that you will pay towards the rent of your unit is not going to increase. As long as a portion of that Section 8 rental subsidy, which is currently paying a portion of the rent, it will increase.
Okay, but when we get an increase from Social Security, because quite a few of us are here under Social Security, not GA, okay? So when we get a raise through Social Security, you guys take another 7%, I think it is?
So
That you
just,
guys add on because we get an increase, so you guys get an increase. That's the way it's been here ever since I've been here.
that's true. The
Okay.
program is designed and is currently and will be into the future so that you pay 30% of your income towards the rent.
It'll still be the 30%.
Correct.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
if you're on Social Security, it's 30% of that.
Yeah.
If you make less, then it's that much less. If you make more, it's that much more, but it's never more than
Full mark.
30%
I
of.
believe the rent increases from market rate, am I correct?
If you pay market, you would receive an increase.
Correct.
So that's what that rent proposal is for the market rate, I believe?
No, it's for all of the units. It's effectively increases the amount of, Section 8 rent assistance subsidy.
If-
What I intended by
Individual
market
on
rate
the
was without the assistance.
Sorry,
What I meant by market rate is like without the assistance.
Yes, if you're already paying full market rent here, your rent will go up to whatever they're opposing.
Yeah.
Or
But
proposing.
not more than 30% of your income.
Right, so if you're right now, you're paying full market rent and you're just barely over that 30, it might be good for you that they raise it, you're still not gonna go above that 30%. But if you're already well beyond that and you're paying full market rent, it'll go up.
Did you have a follow-up question?
Oh, no, I'm good, I'm taking it in.
It's a lot. It's definitely a lot to take in.
Well, I just have a few questions, and it takes me a minute to
Mhm.
get all this information and process it, so I like to go slow.
For sure.
So my first question is the rent increase due to the free money for the renovations?
The rent increase is due to the renewal of the project-based Section 8 contract. So HUD, the federal government agency that administers the contract, they do their market rent comp studies, and they've determined that that is the effective market rent for these units. And so that sets the amount of Section 8 rent assistance subsidy that they'll attach to the unit, and then you would pay 30% of your income towards that rent.
And why do we need to do a new lease?
So there's a handful of other funding sources that are for the renovation, that require, it's not do you wanna explain a little bit more about the lease? It's still the same Section 8 lease, but I don't know if there's anything, without getting too into the weeds.
I don't know the backstory on the compliance part that's required with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know
So-
tax credit stuff, but as far as like.
I'm not paying for
How many
part of
properties you
the,
say
I'm not
no
paying for
to?
part of the restoration, so, why would I sign the lease?
Well, it's gonna be part of, the new financing and the new compliance requirements that'll be part of continued residency. But it's still the same Section 8 lease. It will have what's called a low-income housing tax credit addendum to it. It doesn't have substantively new rules or things that are different from the rules and requirements of your existing Section 8 lease.
So, we already, is this gonna, follow after the lease we already signed, or is it gonna be changed before? Because that's an agreement or contract already been done, right?
Right, so it will.
We just brought them over to trellis leases, so that's why everybody signed leases, is just so that you're on a trellis lease now instead of the old ownership.
Right, and
Right.
that's understandable.
So now with the compliance part of the tax credit, they're going to see leases with that paperwork, your annual certification with the verification. So, the tax credit program, if you guys aren't familiar with the tax credit program, Section 8 market is here. Tax credit comes in, let's say you're one that makes too much and you do go to market. Then that tax credit program comes in and provides a lower affordable rate. So now you have double subsidies where you're either 30% of your income or you're at a lower affordable rate, because now we're with the tax credit program too. So it's a good thing to have the double subsidies going on. Is there paperwork? Of course there's paperwork, it's the government.
Will those,
I just have one matter question. My wife here, she can't walk down from the 6th floor. How is this elevator up?
Can I stop you a second? I don't think we answered her question. So I'm gonna
Okay,
kick
my
back.
fault. Hey, I-
We'll get back to the elevator. I know that's a huge question on everyone. I get that, but let's finish Jeanette's question, because we didn't answer that. So I think her question is, are we going to have a new lease?
Right,
Or are we gonna renew the lease at annual, correct?
that's right, that's the question.
So I think that's her question that she wanted to know.
Everybody's signing a lease with their tax record paperwork, as far as I understand, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so you'll sign and.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, isn't that a contract already that HUD has that should finish out the term?
Is the new lease that we have to sign when our old one expires at the end of the year, or are you gonna try to put it in the halfway mark in between, is what I think she's trying to ask.
So it'll
Half,
be-
conceptually a halfway mark in between.
So you're-
The idea of the annual renewal.
And HUD has agreed to change the contract.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
You all received notes?
Yeah, so
Anything
right
we
now it's a short Section 8 contract, and we're working to renew it for the maximum time period of 20 plus years. So that's not the lease that you sign, that's the Section 8 contract that's attached to your unit. So when we renew that contract, it's a really good thing. It means that the Section 8 will be at this building for a long time. And that's when you'll sign the new lease.
Exactly. Well, every year, we receive a notice saying, if the funds is available, if HUD would, renew. Wouldn't it change once you raise the
So,
market value? We could be, we can be out at any time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the short answer to that is, no. Like, if the federal government does away with the Section 8 program, then we would have to search for alternative rent subsidies for you all, which we would do.
Oh.
But that would be an unfortunate thing. So HUD, the government, it's kind of government speak. They always say things like that. If the funding's available, that's not gonna change. But the Section 8 program has been around for decades and.
What happens when you fail this next inspection though? Because we've all seen that you failed there's been 2 in a row, and technically they're supposed to, but because you're new owners and all that, what happens in the next inspection when on worst case scenario it fails again?
Yeah.
They get to pull their funding, right, and no longer be Section 8.
So you are
Based program.
exactly correct. That is why we have secured funding and are planning such a comprehensive renovation, so that the Section 8 contract is not terminated because the building is in such poor shape.
But that didn't answer the question. What happens if it does fail though? Because even though you fund all these fundings and something still fails, and I'm just saying worst case scenario, again, I know you're intending on fixing it all, but something might still fail.
Yeah, no, I don't think that they will terminate the Section 8 contract in the short term, with the latest REACT inspection. We're working actively with HUD to renew the Section 8 contract as in conjunction with this substantial renovation that we're doing. The substantial renovation is to preserve the Section 8 contract for the long term. It's what's needed, because the previous owner did not keep up the building. And so there's a lot of deferred.
We know that.
There's a lot of deferred,
Yeah.
deferred.
But you still didn't answer his question.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, so
What
So
will
if you guys-
happen to us if you fail, or I should say, basically, we fail to pass a HUD inspection again?
Yeah, no, just to reiterate, you were not in danger of losing the Section 8 contract this year with the recent REACT inspection.
Sure. Next year, you failed the HUD inspection, whatever. You've still, and when that happens, my understanding from my reading was that first off, the the tenants would be able to finish out their lease at what their 30% is, even though you're not getting the other 60% from HUD or wherever you're getting your funding in. After that, you're not under HUD's regulations anymore and could really raise it to whatever you wanted and kick anybody out because you're no longer under those HUD situations. I know you stated that you would try finding other funding for it, but in reality, if you don't, what happens to everybody when and if it ever fails again?
Yeah, so, I mean, what I'm hearing behind your question is really like a fear about that if we don't walk the walk and do what we say we're gonna do, if we're somehow lying or not telling you the truth.
No.
And that's, well, there's like a lack of trust or.
No, there's a lawyer involved and says that that could possibly what could happen. If you guys
Yeah.
fail again, you guys have the option to boot us lowlifes out.
Oh, okay.
And then you guys
So you're
get, you
worried,
know,
okay, so that's not,
That's
At
a real
all.
life statement from a lawyer.
yeah, so
It's
I.
a real life situation.
So we're
For sure.
gearing up to start this rehab early 2024.
Yeah, so next year,
And then, once
the
you're
renovation will
in a
be-
renovation, you're getting a reprieve from those REAC inspections, and you're gonna bring it up to par, we're not gonna fail. I've been with this company for 20 years, and we have not had a situation like this, because the owners do what they do with the properties that they own.
So you're
You
not.
know as old as this building is?
So.
We'll get into some of the work that's going to be performed, so you
Good.
can hear how extensive this rehab is
Yes.
to bring this building to where it should be.
Okay. I mean, because we got a sweet little spot and some of us, you know, quite a few of these people have been here a hell of a lot longer than I have,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
They,
granted, sometimes we always don't get along, but we do get along.
Well, and when
And we
these
all know
guys
each
come
other, we help
through
each other out,
and make the
and we have good
decision.
times here.
When
And
these
we don't
guys-
wanna see that to fail.
Right. When these
Yeah,
guys come through
definitely.
and make the decision to purchase the building, they see the potential in the properties that they've invested in. You know what I mean? And they're gonna
Mhm.
continue because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they do it
failing-
good. They do
But
it
see,
good.
Failing
You
the
know,
REAC is not.
when we go outside and have a good time, it's like we're getting punished
Yeah, but the
for
music,
having a good time out
yeah,
there.
but the music doesn't be as loud as it's been.
That's a city
There
ordinance, though,
hasn't
too.
been any music.
But
That's
that
the way it should be.
that kind of fits into the city ordinance, quiet time, and
Shouldn't be.
Yes.
Okay,
Let's use good use of Dan's
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It don't need to be as loud as you guys played it, there's no way.
let's reel it back, yep, let's stick with Dan's agenda, we can open that discussion later, okay?
We got what?
10 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay, Annette, did you have another question?
Yeah, elevator.
What's the other question you have?
Elevator.
And then we can move on, let's finish with Annette here.
Other question I had, has this renovation happened previously before? I know you said you guys own a lot of buildings. And has this renovation happened like this before? And what was the long-term result? Such as did, HUD say, okay, it's at a higher market value, at this time, we're not gonna have this building to be that, and then you all just go, you know, young college prestigious jobs and whoever can pay this higher amounts.
Yeah,
Has it
we
ever-
have done this throughout our portfolio, and the result is
Mhm.
substantially improved properties with better amenities and more durable, better finishes, better building performance, all the things.
Mhm.
And then, a renewed long-term Section 8 contract, so that's preserved.
I did the research, and they have done a lot of good things in a lot of buildings.
Yeah, that's true. We've been around for 30 years, our
I've been
track
here for
record
30
is one of the best in the state.
Don't you have like 60,000 units or something like that? And 4,000? Oh. Yeah, well,
60,000
yeah.
Real quick, Annette, as you go to your next question, the elevator, we're replacing the elevator as part of the renovation.
When?
I know there's a lot of anxiety on that.
So the renovation project is, we're working, so the public funders dictate when the closing can occur. We're working towards closing and starting the renovation in early 2024. We will have future meetings and future communications as that date gets firm and we have more definitive, like it's gonna start February 1st or February 15th, whatever the final date is. The elevator portion of the work would likely happen in the summer. So the summer of 2024. And we will make sure that there is, we're currently working, part of the design work that we're doing right now is to work out the details around what will happen in the interim while that elevator's being replaced. Whether there's an elevator on the exterior that gets temporarily built for folks, or what the plan and approach is.
So it
Okay,
might
I
be
got you,
two
I got you.
elevators, is that what you're saying?
No.
Temporary.
Oh, come on, if we're gonna do a renovation, let's talk about another one.
Would be nice.
It would be nice.
Would be nice.
It'd be very nice to have two.
Would be very nice. It is a serious question and one that we're looking at, but adding an elevator to a concrete high-rise is actually really tricky to do.
Because I think this sounds like y'all have the best architects.
You do have good architects. We
Yeah.
like that. But did you have a follow-up question on the elevator, or?
I just wanna know because
Like
you
the
got people
times.
that can't walk up and down.
For sure.
That's all I needed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, both for emergencies, I mean, that just goes without saying, safety, that sort of thing. But then just the day-to-day, people need an elevator. They can't take the stairs, it's not an option. So we're
Especially
working.
carrying groceries up. and-
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
Yeah. So, that is the answer to that question.
That was good, that was good.
Yeah, yeah. The elevator is terrible. Okay. So, let's talk about the renovation a little bit, and we're gonna have, we're kind of in the middle of the scope development with the architects and the contractor and things, so once we have a final scope, closer to, the end of this year and closer to the start of next year, we'll be in touch again. We can go over more details and answer more, construction-related specific questions. But, essentially what we're doing is, taking care of all of the deferred maintenance, making sure that all of the capital needs are taken care of, both from a health and safety standpoint and from like an asset protection standpoint, building performance, and so windows, plumbing stacks, electrical system, the mechanical system, all of the, like the air conditioning and the heat and all of those systems will be totally replaced. There'll be a new roof, there's gonna be all those kinds of things. And then we also are going to, we're also going to improve the common amenity spaces. So there'll be a newly programmed community room, we're gonna add a fitness room. There's gonna be more spaces out on the site, and all new finishes in the units. Really every surface will be touched in some way, whether it's new flooring, new appliances, new paint on the walls.
Do they
that
have a
sort of
choice
thing.
whether they got carpet or hardwood? Cause I don't want carpet, that's garbage.
Yeah, so we will likely do plank flooring throughout the unit. Sometimes we do carpet in the bedrooms. There won't be choices by unit because we just need to plan for the long term, the next people that might live there. But it will be a comprehensive renovation.
As someone who's deals with Raynaud's disease and it's worse during the winter, I'd like to have carpet in at least the bedroom.
Okay, yeah, and that's where.
Because if I have no carpet at all, it's gonna be very uncomfortable for me, especially in the winter.
Yeah, so what we normally do, that's a good clarification. So what we normally do, and I'm not saying this is exactly what we're doing at Walnut Towers, but, what we normally do and what will come back with final direction is that we usually have like plank flooring in the kitchen, obviously, and then into the living room, and then usually in the hallway, but then carpet in the bedrooms. That's where the carpet is.
Okay.
That's the normal.
Personally, I'd be satisfied with that.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. Did you? Yeah. Do you have another question?
Would it be any way possible that we can, get, for the unit, just a bullet point of this is gonna be changed, that this is what we need you to do?
Yep.
Are we gonna get that like
Yes.
a month or so before?
Oh, yeah, yeah. There will be, bigger meetings with the general contractor. And that representative from the general contractor will go through the process and the specific activities that are happening in the units. And, we'll answer all of your detailed, questions about the construction. Then, either by floor or possibly by plumbing stack vertically, in smaller groups, the contractor will go through and they will literally have that bulleted list for every single unit. So you'll know ahead of time kind of what's happening in your unit, and you'll know what's happening in the common spaces. And there will be multiple notices, counting down. You will never be, it's our great intention, not that we're perfect human beings, but you should expect that you are never surprised about any activities that happen in your unit or happen in the building. You'll know 2 months ahead of time, you'll know a month ahead of time, you'll know 2 weeks ahead of time, you'll know 48 hours, you'll know 24 hours, and then it'll happen. But each of you also, you may have specific conditions or specific things that are particular either to things in your unit or medical conditions you have or just things that require sort of special accommodations or things like that. And we will be both management and our general contractor, and we will be meeting with you and sort of working through any accommodations that we need to make to minimize the disruption.
What happens to the
Because
tenants?
for sure, no matter what we do, renovation is disruptive, and so we will do what we can to minimize it for you, but it is.
So what happens to the tenants while you're remodeling their apartment?
So again, the scope is being finalized, but given the short answer is likely temporarily relocated to a nearby hotel. Or if you want to stay with friends and family, we can sort of facilitate that as well. The unit work in each unit is likely to take around 2 weeks.
Are you all gonna cover the cost for that hotel?
Yes, yes.
What about all of
We
our
will
stuff
pay-
that's in there? I mean, some people can't move their stuff.
Yeah, we will,
Construction can help with
yeah.
I'm just
we will-
asking.
We will pay all, temporary relocation related expenses, and we work with a general contractor that specializes in renovations like this. And they've got a whole system for how they can assist you with, packing up the things that need to be, you don't have to move all of your possessions out of your unit. You basically kind of put things in plastic totes, you move them to the middle of the floor, everybody takes photographs ahead of time so that there's a record of all of your things and the condition of your things, and then, the contractor kind of moves it around as they do. But we'll have future meetings, with the contractors so that you can meet them in person and you can get the more specific questions answered. The period of the renovations total in the building will probably last around 10 months in total. So they'll be working on different portions of the building, throughout those 10 months, but the unit work it'll happen in kind of phases, either by floor or by plumbing stack, so that they can, temporarily relocate folks, for about 2 weeks. Might be a little less, I don't think it's gonna be much more, but it'll be around 2 weeks.
Because I'm sick of the rotten eggs now.
Absolutely. Sewer gas is outstanding.
Yeah, a big problem in this particular building is
I
that
know
the,
other people's apartments. You can smell other people's apartments.
yeah, the plumbing stacks are original cast iron, they're corroding.
Yes.
It's awful, and they will be completely replaced.
I've had times throughout the past 3, almost 4 years that I've lived here where I could smell cigarette smoke coming from my overhead
Yep.
vent in my kitchen.
Yep.
Yeah,
I've had to report it to, I believe, the last management company a few times.
yeah.
There's actually a big gap in the wall. If you ever push up the ceiling and look by in the corner there, there's about a gap that big that the flow
Yeah.
just
I
right
can't
through.
push up the tiles in my.
Yeah, I know. Mine are all painted too.
Part of what we have the architect doing is that, it's like, it's how the envelope works and the pressure in the units and how the mechanical system works, so that people don't get smells between units, or if there's cooking, you know, down the hall, or cigarette smoke, things like that.
Sometimes I'll
That should
smell
all-
someone's breakfast
Yep.
in the morning or whatever.
Yep, we're gonna improve the noise, if there's, noise mitigation, if you're hearing.
You got to get rid of that building over there then, because it just ricochets everything right in. And you could be just really quiet too. And if your window's open and somebody else's window open, it sounds like they're right in your apartment. And I can understand that's why people say they're being loud, and sometimes they're really not. I mean, just normal talking sounds like they're right in your ear because of the building there and ricocheting.
Yeah, so we are doing some exterior envelope work, we are getting new windows, that's another big
Yeah.
ticket
That'll be
item.
nice.
That'll help a lot.
I know my windows are drafty, and when we used to have campfires out there with the last management.
God, horrible.
I could smell it every time they had a campfire.
Yep.
It was overpowering.
Yep, I agree.
We miss our little bonfires that we used to have.
Just so you know, we really wanna roast some marshmallows.
We are doing, we're relocating the little trellis area, to
Our
the
veranda.
corner, the veranda, thank you,
Thank
that's
you.
better.
Yes.
But it'll be refurbished, and made nicer, I think.
Okay.
And so.
Now, I got a good one for you.
Yeah.
Well, you're never here. She's only here half the time. You, we. I would like for us to go back to security, where we all get a key for the outside doors.
Yeah.
And then use our key cards to get in.
Yeah.
Because we're really, excuse my French, fucking tired of the homeless
Yep.
coming in here.
Yeah,
Sleeping in our stairwells, smoking, doing their laundry.
We just need a security
hiding out
officer.
In the trash rooms,
Storage room.
in the
Yep.
storage rooms.
Or other residents letting the homeless in.
Yeah.
At, they do it at nighttime.
Only all like to sit in the damn entrance and like.
We just had 2 of them in the stairwells last week.
Yep, so.
There have been many
so this
times
is
where I
great.
get a random call from the security door and I just ignore it if I'm not expecting anybody because I don't
You
have
don't know who it is.
visual on who it is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And half the
Becky's done a
time I
good job
answer
of
it,
it.
it's someone I don't even recognize.
What are you
their
talking about? I'm
voice.
not here. You just-
No, also, I am. No, you did good because most of them would come and they would know everybody's apartment numbers and you switched all that. So now they have to know. I mean, we get people that come out here and they're like, oh, you know such and such. It's like, no, we don't know them.
So if I could just cut in briefly, because these are similar comments, but we've heard this before, we've heard similar comments before. We will be comprehensively studying and improving the security in all the aspects, the stairwells, the front door, main lobby access, all of the sort of how people get in and out of the building, and cameras and everything else will be totally improved.
Good.
Now, would there be a
Good.
possibility for
And
us
it's a high
to
priority.
see who's standing at the door when they call them, for us to buzz them in?
Yeah,
Lobby
so that's
vision.
good.
See who's there before we
Yeah,
decide?
like the video.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's a
I've
very
been wanting
specific
that a
request,
lot.
and that's good
Yeah.
feedback.
Or at least like an intercom thing.
That way you can talk and figure
Yep.
out.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
gonna add
Yeah.
a seat in here.
Yep. We're gonna
And
add a
I'll-
package, we're gonna add a package room, so that there'll be secure access for your packages.
Because in New York and in London, you have to have a key to get in the door, and then you have to use a keypad to get to whoever you're seeing.
Yeah.
Security officer, that'd just do it all.
You know?
One security officer sitting in that little entry right there with all the cameras, perfect. Never have to worry about somebody, because then, wait a minute, you wouldn't know the employee. Yeah, never mind.
No, lock the outs, well, you know, in New York and also in London, Paris, London, you know, Brick City, all that. They have keys on the outside of the doors. And then you have to use the key to get into your vestibule. And then you have to use a keypad to notify who you're coming to see in order to get into the building.
You know, with that key, we're still gonna have a small little bit of homeless people that are still gonna sneak in.
Mm-hmm.
And you're still gonna
Well,
have to.
and it does take a community, because they know, you know each other, you see each other. If they're not with a tenant, tell them no, I'm sorry.
Well, we do that, plus we tell them already, no, we don't know you, we're not opening up the door for you. You know, I mean, we understand that there are some families that come here, but 9 times out of 10, most of us know that. So that's different. You can tell who are some of the ones. I mean, I come down and go, oh, look at that one, it's right outside the door. You know, so it's, yeah. It's,
Keep an eye on it.
yeah.
If you had a experienced security officer with credentials that's willing to work, like if you had a desk out there in the lobby,
Yeah.
and just work from the evenings during the times that the homeless be trying to come in.
Yeah, when Becky's not here.
Kind of watch the doors and always.
Right, because if there's somebody trying to get in while Becky's here, she's gonna go out and say, hey, you're right. But I mean, when you're not here, they're waiting at the door for somebody. And you go to the other side and there's somebody at both doors waiting to get in, and you're like, I can't go out because I don't want to confront them. I can't let, I will. I'm like, no, I'm not letting you in. Please move, and I'll pull the door shut. But a lot of people are too intimidated when somebody's there. Let me in. I'm gonna come in too.
Yeah, no, that's good
See,
feedback.
that's another reason why I want a camera,
At the
when
door.
someone tries to have me buzz them in too. It's like, is there someone right next to him that's gonna try and tail him as well? It's like, I don't know who else is gonna, tail my visitors.
Yeah, trying to sneak in, yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
we've had a lot of.
I've chased people out before.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not messing around.
Yeah, there's quite a few people that's come in here that, quite a few of our neighbors will say, hey, get out, get the fuck out.
You
know?
don't belong here.
We know you don't belong here. But then sometimes they're here and they're like, oh, well, I'm visiting such and such. Well, how come your ass ain't up there? If they ask you to leave, that means you leave the building. Don't go to the stairwell. Don't go to our, our storage rooms.
Or the
You know,
trash rooms. You leave the
You know,
building.
yeah.
You exit the
That might be
building all
another
the
thing
way.
too, is a key for the storage. Might
Yeah,
have to
the
be
whole
locked.
storage, yep, the security around the storage.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, cause, yeah.
Yep, that will be totally improved.
Cause before our
Okay.
stuff got broken into before our storage.
Mm-hmm, yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
You know,
Did you wanna talk about maintenance requests, or just the process for work orders and things?
I think just the process of it. I mean, I don't know if you guys are all familiar and comfortable with putting in a work order.
through Rent Cafe.
So you have Rent Cafe is the main one. We'd like to see you all start really, really utilizing that. Okay, so when with Rent Cafe, you can pay your rent on there as well as put in a work order. That's the really main one we'd like to see you start using. Otherwise, feel comfortable, we do still have the paper ones outside my office here. Okay, so please, anything you see, anything you need done, don't just blow it off, don't think you need us not to worry about it. Oh, they'll do it at remodel. Please put anything in, we gotta get things, stay on top of your repairs. Okay? Any questions, come see me.
I need a new dress. I said I need a new dress. You asked me for anything.
Apartment, excuse me, I'm corrected, apartment related.
Oh.
Sorry, that was my fault.
Well, the next time, specify your later. Yeah.
And we know we have a few that we are behind on. David is getting ramped up. give him a little bit, he
Oh, you
just
did hire
started.
somebody?
So we did
Okay.
start someone, I know I need to get a newsletter out welcoming him, so you guys are known and aware of
Yeah,
what we
we
do
were
have
wondering who
maintenance,
he
he just
was.
started last
Uh-huh.
week, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Isn't he the one from your building?
Is there another, did you have a
There's
question?
been two here, one, Rick
Yeah.
has been here once a week helping
Rick's
us.
the biker
He's
looking
training,
dude?
yes,
Rick's
yep,
training, yeah.
with the gray,
Yeah, the great,
Yeah,
yeah. the
he's
biker.
been
He looks like a
training.
biker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just call him the biker.
Alright, so
Okay,
who's the
so
one in the
hold on, we
red
got a
truck?
question in the front.
so
I'd like
there we
to
go.
get first.
New elevators?
New elevators. Yep, our new elevator.
I have ever told, I have, I'm thinking when I was surgery, I got scared with, I have surgery, I have some fungus involved.
Those hurt.
I can't, right now I can't go there.
Yep, I agree. Yep, and you won't have to. It's not our intent, nor would it be right for us to expect people to just use the stairs. So were there a question over here?
Are they gonna put ceiling fans in the bedroom?
Actually, I do think that we're trying to work in ceiling fans in the units. I don't know, it will either be in the bedroom or out in maybe in the kitchen. I don't know. That is
In the
something that
kitchen?
we're looking at.
We cut our heads off in there.
We are working to reconfigure the kitchen so that they're much more usable.
Would we have more counter space? Cause I would love that.
Yes.
Are we getting
More
bathtubs?
storage, more counter space.
Yeah.
I don't want a
Yeah,
bathtub.
to me and you need.
There will be new showers and bathtubs. It'll be, sorry. Whatever you have, yeah, it will be new fiberglass.
I'll let send it to my bath box, you say go.
I won't take a bath.
So much for my nightly soul.
Yeah, so that's a good question. His question is, can we knock down a wall between units and combine units or things like that? And the answer is unfortunately no. With the Section 8 contract, we're not changing unit types. We're not gonna be combining units. Yeah, no, it's a good question.
Are they gonna knock that wall, where kitchen divided, or divided, or? they
We
just
are
that wall up?
currently looking at that, yeah. Replacing the galley kitchen with a more open kitchen. But again, so would that be good? Would you?
I've been here for 20 years, I've been looking at a wall.
Yeah. Okay, so we can't promise that, but we are looking at that and working to improve that. Because we think that wall really, it makes the kitchen really tiny and it takes up the space and, yeah. We could open up the kitchen and add an island or something.
They're putting in bigger, stoves, right?
Yeah, they'll be regular sized stoves. Yeah, cause you have small stoves.
Yes.
You can't even cook a turkey on that.
I hate the small stoves.
Yeah, you can. That's true, you can.
Yeah, totally.
Cook a turkey
So,
in it 'cause it's so small.
Yeah, getting rid of the tiny stoves. And just so you guys know, from an owner perspective, like those tiny stoves cost more than regular stoves. So when it makes no sense. And so we don't like them. We'll have regular, we'll have regular stoves.
I don't wanna kill one.
Not that I could, but.
And so we will meet with you, we'll meet with you again when we've got the final scope. We've got our substantial funding secured, so I can promise you that it will be a comprehensive renovation, including all of the things that we've been talking about. We will be meeting with you again later in the fall with the contractor to answer more specific questions when we have the final scope.
Will there be a point where we will get this?
Go ahead.
Well, Laura, will there be a point where we'll get to see the new layout at some point, like new floor plans before everything's said
Yes.
and done?
Yes, yeah, for sure, that's a
That'd be-
reasonable,
Yeah.
so maybe at another, we'll have the architect do like a picture, yeah, so you can see the layout.
Renders would be an amazing bonus, but I at least wanna kind of see a general floor plan layout.
Yep. Yeah, thank you for that, that is reasonable, I'll see what I can do. Yeah, so the community room will be reprogrammed with a new kitchen that'll be much more functional and new, there'll be just better like TV area, better lounge.
Are they taking over the other half over here?
Yeah, so PCs for the people is gonna move.
They're moving over there, that's what I thought, then you're taking over that part?
We're gonna help them expand, they're gonna have a much larger operation. Part of what they're gonna have is a computer lab that we're gonna help them start, that you all will have access to, and that they will help staff.
There's
So there'll
bad
be a
plumbing in
computer
there.
lab over
It's
there.
the company that was here
The
before,
space
the
that
lottery
they
ticket place,
vacate
they got flooded out in there, so that's why they moved. Yeah, that's why they moved out of there.
To, like, a package room,
Well, it'd be good, it's all getting done
area, sort of front, the whole front lobby will be kind of reprogrammed so that it's much
Okay,
and inviting and secure.
so we can, so have our community room will just be different, so we can
It'll be
still
all
come in
redesigned.
here and.
Same function, but I think it'll be much better. I
Better,
think you'll
okay.
like being down here
Okay.
a lot more. I mean, it'll be, all the
It'll be nice.
surfaces will be
I'm
totally
excited.
different. Yeah. You'll be able to have like, it'll be the kind of kitchen where you can, and there'll be a huge island so that you can have a party and serve.
One more question, are we gonna get more washers and dryers, cause right now we don't have them.
Yeah, more washers and dryers. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we heard that, so the laundry rooms will have more washers and dryers.
I heard, are we losing the garbage chute?
Yes,
No, that's,
our-
It is, okay.
yeah, but it'll be refurbished.
Sure, okay. Someone was saying they didn't
That
want
whole,
that.
the,
'Cause that's a big one.
yeah.
Carry the garbage out, that'd be horrible.
And, the way that the it's a tiny
Really small.
trash bin that gets over full, and then that room is disgusting. And so, yeah, so we're getting we're gonna have a whole new mechanical system and water heater system. So that whole boiler room is gonna be reconfigured with modern, mechanical systems and heating systems.
So we're
But
gonna
it
have
will
better heating
also,
during the winter?
yeah. It'll be much more comfortable for residents. But what I'm getting to is, and I actually love this because it's super important, is the whole way that the trash goes down the chute, into the bin, and then out the building is gonna be totally different. We're expanding it, we're putting in a new garage door so that it's super easy for the trash bin to go out. So it'll be much better. Quieter, more functional, less smelly. It's just gonna be how it should.
Will
For
it
an
be bigger?
86, much bigger.
So-
86 unit building is a
Yeah.
proper way to do it.
Because the dumpster in there is really small.
Dumpster, that's the word I'm
Would it include, recycling chutes?
I don't think there is a way, so I'm 80 to 90% sure that there's not a way to add another chute. And we did look at it. Cause there's not a recycling chute now, right?
No. It's in the
Just
back.
have a regular garbage.
Yeah.
I might have to get back to you because I know we looked at it and I just can't, let me write it down that it's important.
Yeah, to save the planet.
It's, maybe well, I'm gonna stop talking because I don't.
You don't wanna oversell yourself.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
I would not put one in.
People can start
recycling
putting
chute?
garbage.
No, because I know what the garbage.
And
they
it's
don't put
contaminated
garbage
garbage,
in
you
there.
have to
Yeah.
pay
Yeah.
for contaminated garbage.
And then
If they're
all-
together,
all-
yeah,
it's gonna be
yeah.
here,
Hold
it's
on.
only been for y'all.
Let Penny, let's finish hearing from Penny.
No, I would not pull it in. It's, they're just gonna start putting, cause
Yeah.
right now they're putting
Trash.
garbage in the recyclable room now.
Okay.
So, and if you can't remove that.
Because it's only one, that's what.
No,
my opinion, I
there's
don't
4
think
or
so.
5 in there.
No, I'm saying it's only a trash thing there, so you give people no alternative but to do that. So
No.
if there's a recycling where they can put their recycle, I'm sure people will use that.
We have a
As well as
recycle
for the
room.
garbage, they will not mix up the two.
I mean, I do think you raise a good point. In our other properties, we have successfully used recycling chutes. But you're right, we do have to program it so that it's easy for folks to do both. And then over time, it's a community, norm that we all have to sort of work on.
Yeah.
But if we don't, we're not gonna jam something in that's not gonna function well. Partly for the reason that you're just raising. Cause people do, if you put trash down recycling,
They're gonna start-
Yep.
And then we get charged extra, and then, cause we got garbage in the recycling. If we can't do garbage in the recycling, we're doing garbage in the recycling now, and then it sits there for a week and you're smelling up the whole building.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
gotta kind of, I don't know,
Yeah.
figure out how to,
It's a good idea to do that.
it's a great idea, but how do we get everybody to do it
Yeah.
properly?
And then you have to, you have to work on
Yeah.
cardboard though.
I'm satisfied.
I won't end by saying, cause we'll keep answering questions, but there is an this is, the location of Walnut Towers is amazing. It's right in downtown Mankato.
Mhm.
Mankato, we looked at the market when we were looking, I mean, it's a growing city, it's a great location in a great city. It should be the gem of the city.
Yes, it should.
Yes, and that is what we intend to make.
And see, not a lot of us have cars, so it's easier for us to go to the store and back.
Because of the location.
Yeah, the location,
I like
yeah.
that. I like all
So,
that.
and I mean,
Yeah.
our apartments are not bad.
Yeah.
Our apartments are they're pretty decent,
Yes.
but we just wanna keep it that way,
I agree. Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
anything's better, everything's better.
Just improve
Yeah,
it.
but
You know,
it's
but
change,
it's-
and we
yeah.
are new, and renovations are disruptive no matter what you do. And so, it's gonna take time to sort of build that sort of trust and really practical, like you'll know who to go to with a question. And it's Becky, or it sometimes will end up being the contractor. They're gonna be here for 10 months, you're gonna get to know them. If you have a specific question, they'll be your go-to person, but we will staff it. We have the resources to make sure that there are people here to answer your questions and to handle the situations that come up.
Are we gonna have an on-site maintenance person? that lives in
After the
building?
renovation?
Yeah.
Yes.
I believe.
We have a maintenance man now and he doesn't live here.
Great.
Well, that's
So
okay.
the position's filled.
Yes, that's true.
That,
is very true.
yeah,
Yes.
space filled.
Yes, yes, okay.
Oh, you had a question?
Is there gonna be, video cameras on each floor?
There will, yes.
Yes.
That's gonna be nice too.
Yep.
Yes. Praise the Lord.
Yep,
Yes.
they'll be
Just
modern.
because if there's altercations, then you guys can tell
Yep.
on what all.
That's why there's security guard here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our fire alarm.
Fire alarms that are called on stuff.
Or
Yeah.
strange people knocking at your door
Have
at
you
3
guys
o'clock in the
put
morning.
any consideration to expanding internet service provider options? I think we only have 2 us tenants can choose from. I was wondering if you guys might be willing to consider fiber optic.
It's right out the door here too. It's literally right at the corner there. I love it.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I would love to
Yeah, 'cause
have
we don't
access
get
to a
Wi-Fi
fiber
down
provider
here.
that can
Yeah.
offer faster speeds.
Yeah, 'cause we don't get no Wi-Fi.
Because I'm a big internet user,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that feedback. And we will look into that. Yeah,
Appreciate it,
that's
thank you.
definitely.
Figured since you'd do the renovations
Yeah.
and fiber during the day would be.
That would be the time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you took now, you took
Yep.
that Wi-Fi.
And we are looking to add building Wi-Fi too, so
Oh,
that
that
we'll
would be
have it
great.
in the common areas.
That'd be awesome.
It won't be what you're talking about, but it'll be.
Yeah, I would still like to have my own provider, cause I personally take issue with potential security risks.
Absolutely.
Sharing building-wide internet.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep, understandable.
Yeah, one last question. Do you guys own the space next door, the empty, like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yep, that's part of the building, and PCs for the People will be relocating and expanding. We're gonna build it out and help them make it nice, and they'll be.
I never seen that wall under there.
This wall here?
Yeah.
This, I think this wall will stay.
I heard they were gonna put like a.
There might be, yeah, we might be expanding it a little bit to make it more functional, but that vacant space over there, in large part, that will be occupied by PCs for the People.
Now, will that computer lab be 24/7 access or on an hour basis?
That's a very good question, I don't know for sure, and we
Because
should.
they were staffing that.
They will be staffing it during regular hours and doing some assistance too if people need it. How it's accessed after hours, I don't know for sure. But the idea is that it's a computer lab and with resources, for the residents of Walnut Towers, in addition to the public as well.
One more question.
Yeah.
Is there a way you guys can talk to waste management where they can come like at 7 in the morning and stay at 5:30?
Right.
Empty garbage cans at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bid that out with different garbage people, cause we struggle with LJP. So
Yeah.
we are,
Yeah.
I am looking for different garbage.
And they have to come now almost every day?
Yeah.
Or every
Yeah.
other day?
No, every day.
So part of that is because that trash that dumpster is so tiny.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
really, it's,
It overflows.
yeah, it's so undersized for 86 units, which is what
Yeah.
Walnut Towers is. So in the renovations, we're gonna greatly expand it, so that it'll be more normal,
They won't
dumpster.
stink as bad neither, bro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna lose, our little storage areas in our apartments?
No, I don't believe so.
In
You
the
mean like
apartments or
the,
the room in the hallway?
Like the
No,
one-
in our apartments
like
that we have,
the hallway?
yeah, between
Go
the
to the
bathroom
bathroom? I don't
that are
think so.
behind our back doors.
No, storage in apartments, we know is at a premium. We always work to expand it rather than get rid of it. So if it's functional storage now, we're not looking at redesigning that hallway space.
Okay.
It'll have new finishes, like
Yeah.
new shelves and flooring and everything.
Will you be updating the electrical panels and stuff as
Correct.
well? Cause the ones in our units right now look like they are
They're very
original
old. Yeah,
to
they're
the
very old.
building.
They're very old, it's not good, so they will be replaced.
Actually, I think back then they were still on the old fuses. I think they were still on the screw fuses when this was built.
Yeah, mine's just got like the really old like slider ones.
The cable thing was like painted over or something, so they could. Cable jack? Yeah, cable jack or something. And it's same thing in our bedroom too.
In general, we will be getting new, like, looking at new internet, cable services, new electrical, so, yes, in concept, but
Okay. I just, and then,
Yeah.
also about the electrical outlets, some of ours work.
Yeah.
So is all the electrical wiring and stuff being replaced too?
a lot of it, I don't know that 100% is, but the electrical panel, we have, part of the architect's job is to look at the electrical system and the voltage and make sure that it's properly sized and.
They'll probably replace some of, like in the bathroom, the GFC outlets, and in the kitchen, the GFC outlet, and I think those are like mandatory. It's supposed to be in bathrooms and kitchens.
There will be additional meetings, communications, and as we get closer to the renovations, smaller group meetings, to ask more questions about the renovations, to go through some floor layouts and talk specifics. There will be more opportunities to talk about the process and to answer questions about that.
And you also put notices out.
Yep, yep, we'll put notices out about it. So this isn't the last time, but hopefully we answered some questions.
See, for the trespass list, I noticed that they're just names.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
basically
we need to have
anybody
pictures.
Yes,
by
we
that
need to
name.
have pictures.
Yeah, can we get pictures added to that?
Of the people that are
Somehow.
not forbidden, you know, outlawed from coming here.
Because I would have no idea if I'm letting in a trespass person or not.
That's also why-
Just a name.
Exactly.
That's why I don't let anybody
Say any
in.
name.
Why I don't let anybody in, even if I've seen him in here before.
Fictitious name.
Yeah.
We wouldn't know any better.
Right.
This is something I was hoping you might be able to look into.
Are you, Beth, are you gonna be here tomorrow?
I'm here until, I have an appointment at 2, but I will be here probably until like 12:30.
If not, I'll catch you.
Like 1 maybe, probably 1.
All right, I'll catch you.
But I'm here Wednesday and Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about